right, welcome to Unit 5, Lesson 1. This is from Chapter 6.5 in the book if you want to use that as a resource. So we are starting linear inequalities, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to graph linear inequalities. Graphing linear inequalities is the same as graphing linear functions with a few minor changes. Okay, so what are inequalities? These are the inequality symbols. Okay, this is less than, this is greater than, this is less than or equal to, and this is greater than or equal to. So the difference between an inequality and an equation is that in an equation there's only one solution, and in an inequality there are many solutions, and we'll talk about that in the next lesson. All right, so what happens when we graph? Well, the first thing is, normally when we graph a function, we just draw a line, a regular line. But in linear inequalities, the boundary line that we draw may look a little bit different. So for less than and greater than, it is going to be a dotted line. So instead of drawing a normal solid line, you're going to draw a dotted line. And for less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you're going to have a solid line, like you normally would. I'll show you what those look like in a little bit. All right, now as for the shading, so when we graph an inequality, we're going to have basically half the graph is going to be shaded a certain color. Okay, so for less than, we're going to shade below. For greater than, we're going to shade above. For less than or equal to, we are going to shade below also. And for greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above. Okay, so this is a really good reference. You need to know this material, and now I'm going to show you how to apply it. All right, so you will still use the slope and y-intercept to graph the line and then determine what type of line it is and where to shade. Okay, so let's try. So the first example is y is less than negative 3x plus 5. Y is less than negative 3x plus 5. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to identify my m and my b, because that's going to help me graph this inequality. So my m is negative 3. It's right in front of the x because the y is by itself. And my b is 5. Okay, notice my less than symbol. We'll come back to that later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my y-intercept at 5. These all go by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start there, and the slope is negative 3. That means I'm going to go down 3 over 1. So down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. I'm just plotting our points. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Okay. So there are my points on the boundary line. That is going to be the boundary line. So now I need to go look at my inequality. My inequality is a less than symbol. According to this, it needs to be a dotted line and it needs to be shaded below. Okay, so I'm going to go find my dotted line. All right, let's see if I can get this. Oh, I thought it was going to be straight. What happened there? All right, let me undo that. Okay, okay, I need to actually, okay, so I want that and I want this, I guess. Maybe, oh, I know what I need. I need this. Okay, here we go. All right, so there is my dotted line. Y'all need to be using a straight edge when you're doing this, please, okay? And then you'll just draw dots around it. All right, so there is my boundary line. It has a negative slope. It goes through 0, 5. So now I need to shade below, okay? So shade below means that I'm going to shade below this boundary line. So all of this is going to get shaded. And as we're going to talk about in the next lesson, all of this area on the coordinate plane represents the solutions. Okay, we'll talk about that in the next lesson though. If you need help figuring out how to figure out where below is, a great tip I use is that I just put my pin on the y-intercept and I go straight down. Wherever I end up, that's below. Okay, if I were to go up, then that would be above. So this is above and this is below. All right, let's try another one. All right, so in this example, it says given the following graph, write the correct inequality. All right, so this is interesting. So given the following graph, so what do I need to identify about this graph? Well, I need to identify my M and my B. All right, so my y-intercept is right here. That's negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4, not positive 4. Okay, this is 0. If I'm going down, that's negative. So my y-intercept is negative 4, and I need to find another point. Looks like there's one here, and I need to count my rise and my run. Remember, my rise and my run should be the same from any 2 points on this line. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 over 4. So let's check it again. Up 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the same as 1/2. It is a positive slope. Okay, so I know that I'm going to have y, and then I'm going to have some inequality symbol, and then I'm going to have 1/2 x minus 4. Again, this is my m, and this is my b. M and b. Okay, now what is the inequality symbol? Well, what is my line? Is it a dotted or a solid line? It looks like a solid line, which means that I'm going to have an equal to sign underneath it, part of the equal sign, right? Now, did I shade below, above, or below? Clearly it's shaded below, so it is going to be less than or equal to 1/2 x minus 4. So you need to identify your m and your b, and then you have to figure out what inequality symbol it's going to get. Okay, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Remember, you need to look at both the way the line is, if it's solid or dotted, and the shading above or below. All right, let's try another one. In this problem, we have to graph this inequality, but this inequality is in standard form. Okay, so we need to rewrite it into slope-intercept form. All right, so I'm going to subtract 4x, subtract 4x. So negative 6y is less than 12 minus 4x. Now I need to divide by negative 6. Now remember, we learned what happens when we multiply or divide by a negative. We have to flip our inequality symbol. So now this is greater than. Now let's do the math here. What's 12 divided by negative 6? Negative 2, and negative 4 divided by negative 6 is a positive 2/3 x. Okay, 4 over 6 simplifies to 2/3. So now I have it in a way in slope-intercept form. I'm going to rewrite it down here. Y is greater than negative 2 plus 2/3 x. Now in this scenario, this is my m and this is my b, right? mx. The m's in front of the x. All right, so I need to graph this. Okay, so I'm going to plot my y-intercept at negative 2, and I'm going to graph my slope 2/3. Up 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, over 3. Up 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Down 2, 1, 2, over 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 2, over 3. All right. So now, what kind of line is it going to get? Yes, it's going to get a dotted line. Okay, so I'm going to go draw my dotted line. Make sure your line goes all the way through the coordinate plane. Okay, so like here it kind of stops. So I want to go ahead and extend that all the way through because I want it to basically cut this coordinate plane in half. Remember, the coordinate plane goes on forever and ever, so it's not just this window that we're looking at. Okay, so now where am I going to shade? Well, this is a greater than symbol, so I'm going to shade above. Where is above? Well, if I put my pin on the y-intercept and go up, that's above. So this is where I'm going to shade. That's where the solutions are. Doesn't have to be perfect shading, but try to get the best you can. All right, last one. Write the correct inequality given the graph. All right, so going back to what we just did a second ago, so we need to identify M and B and then write our inequality. All right, so let's start with B. Let's see, here is 0, 0, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my y-intercept is positive 4. Looks like there's another point here and another point here. Let's check if the slope's the same between those two. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1 over 5. Notice this line has a positive slope. From left to right is going up. Okay, I went down, but I also went left. When I go down and left, that's still a positive slope. Or this way, I'm going up and over. So up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect, they match. So now I'm going to write my inequality. So y, figure out my inequality symbol in a minute, 1/5 x plus 4. All right, it appears to be a dotted line, so there's not going to be an equal to sign underneath it. And it looks like it's shaded above, so it's going to be greater than. Y is greater than 1/5 x plus 4. So that is how you graph inequalities. Okay, graphing linear equalities and writing linear equalities from a graph. Go back and review anything that you missed, and we'll see you in class.